Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ljs Garage. Behind me is a 2020 Volkswagen Passat SE. Volkswagen says this is well-crafted exhilaration. Unfortunately, I don't think that's true. So stay with me. I'm going to give you guys a walk-around tour of the Volkswagen Passat, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on this interesting sedan. This was originally introduced in 2015, but last year, 2019, no, it's 2021. I lied to you. 2 years ago, Volkswagen decided to do a full little redesign, so everything is pretty much brand new, they say. But what Volkswagen has done is they've taken everything underneath, they've kept it the same. It's the same Passat we've loved and known for the last 8 to 10 years. And so this really is not that new. And I'll show you some of the things that are new, but overall, it's the same Volkswagen that you guys have known for years. So I'm going to start with the front end of this car, work my way around, hop on the inside, and then we'll get right to it. The front end, very familiar, very Volkswagen, very German. This grille, very German. Everything about this is very nice. I do like what they've done with the large Volkswagen badge. This grille looks good. I even like the chrome. These headlights are LED, so that's a really nice touch. And then on the higher trims, you do get fog lights. This is just an SE, so it doesn't have that, but you can get them on the higher trims, like I said. Overall, there's not much to hate, not much to love. It's unmistakably Volkswagen, and that's one of the good things about the Volkswagen Passat. It's a name that Volkswagen can't let go of because everyone knows what a Passat is, everyone knows what a Jetta is, and even though a lot of auto manufacturers are moving towards SUVs and crossovers, I'm impressed to see that Volkswagen's holding on to this, and I think it's just because of that legacy. This has been in production since, what, like 1975 or something. So it's a nameplate that they kind of have to hold on to because once they lose it, that's kind of it. No more Passat. You can't really turn it into a crossover, which I guess you could. Mitsubishi's done it, so there's that. You'll notice that it's got these nice sharp body lines, and that's kind of like a high-end Volkswagen German touch, so you can kind of see that they've put some effort into that styling and the sculpting to make this thing extra sexy, as they would say. Now, my question to you guys is, well, actually, this is a question for me and you guys. But do you think that this is enough to make someone not go for a Camry, an Accord, a Sonata, Optima? There's so many choices in this mid-size sedan segment that this is kind of a tough sell. I do like this car, but it's very, let's say you go to the bread aisle. You've got your whole grains, you've got your cinnamon raisin slices and some of those fancy things there. But this is like very plain white bread, which isn't bad. It gets the job done. You can make French toast out of it. It's not Texas toast, it's just regular toast. It's all right. As far as the key fob goes, very typical Volkswagen. You've got this little flip-up style thing there, so if someone comes up to you, you can shank, shank, shank. But go ahead and close this. You'll notice it's just your typical key. So you've got your remote start, which is actually a nice feature that I'm glad that they added, and then your unlock, and then your tailgate. So really nothing fancy. This doesn't do a whole lot. If you look at it, it's just a normal VW key. And if you look on the side, you've got your panic button. So you can see this guy, he looks like he's running from something. He looks like he's running from the alarm itself. So I'm assuming if you push the button, someone that's attacking you, they'll run away. So I'm not going to push that right now, but I imagine it would look something like this. I've been at the gas station, I've been at the grocery store, I've been all over, and I have seen people accidentally hit their panic buttons, and everyone will do this. I've never actually seen anyone spring into action because of a panic button, so most people just think it's an annoying thing. Someone bumped it, it's not really the real thing. So I don't really know how much a panic button will help in 2021. I have a feeling we're going to be pushing the panic button in 2021 a lot. It's off to a great start. Under the hood is a 2-liter 4-cylinder. It is turbocharged, and as soon as I can find this thingy thing, I will be able to show you guys all the glory that is the Volkswagen motor. Come on. This motor makes 174 horsepower, 206 foot-pounds of torque, does 0 to 60 in about 7.5 to 8 seconds, somewhere in that ballpark. As far as transmission options go, you only get one, and that's a 6-speed automatic. It's not the best, it's not the worst. We'll talk about that on the driving experience with this thing. There are no Volkswagen scandals as of late, so if you've been following all that, Volkswagen's behaving themselves, which is great. Gas mileage, 23 city, about 34 highway, which that gas mileage is actually really not that bad. However, compared to a lot of the other midsize sedans, it's kind of a little bit behind. A lot of these midsize sedans really are stepping it up because at this day and age, A sedan really has to be something special in order for someone to choose a sedan over an SUV. And I'm being brutally honest. I've said that in a couple other videos, but think about it. An SUV comes along. Now SUVs are fast. They have the cargo capacity. They have the ride height. They have the safety. They have the driving experience. They have the weight distribution, the balance, the handling, the suspension, the off-road capability, everything. So a sedan, unless you really are like me and you love driving cars and only cars, then I mean, I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say. As far as this motor goes, I will say that I haven't heard anything bad. It's just a 4-cylinder. They don't work too hard. They don't do much. This one is fairly fuel efficient, fairly torquey, but it's not a performance motor by any means, which means that maintenance, wear and tear, all of those headaches, they're not really a huge concern on this platform. Pitter patter, let's get at her. So back to this Passat. Wheels, 17-inch wheels as standards, but you can get 18 or 19 on the higher end models. These look perfectly fine. They do the job. They look like every other Volkswagen wheel. There's nothing fancy about it. Body lines, sharp, clean, athletic, stylish-ish. So there's that. Sunroof, none on the SE, but you can go to the higher trims and you can get the sunroof. So it is there if you actually really want it. Most people don't really care about things like that, especially if you're getting an SE. These start at about $23,000, $24,000, and so if you really want to spend the extra money, then go for it. If not, no big deal. What you also do get is you get keyless entry, keyless access, all of that. So keys are in my pocket. You just go ahead and unlock from here, lock it from here, unlock, lock. Straightforward, super easy, nothing fancy. This doesn't have anything that is crazy or spectacular. There are no elaborate features that are on this Volkswagen that are going to blow your mind or make you think that you have the most luxurious thing in the world, but this is a really nice ride. Earlier when I said that the side profile, the rest of this car is very vanilla, very plain, very missionary, you know, this is what I meant. Look at the side of this. You can tell that this isn't really all that extravagant of a car. Volkswagen does have higher models, and this is at the lower end of that spectrum. Yes, it's a little bit above a Jetta, but not by much. And honestly, I love the Jetta way more than I've loved this Passat. All right, I am going to head inside of the Volkswagen Passat right now. No, I'm not. Now I will head inside the Volkswagen. I'll show you guys what this interior looks like really quick, but here I am sitting in here. I'm 5'9". This driver's seat's set for me, and I've got plenty of leg room, plenty of headroom. It's nice and comfortable in here, and there's nothing really back here. I've got vents and I've got USB charging ports, and that's about it. You do also get cup holders and little map holders on the back of the seats. Really, other than that, not much magic's gonna happen back here. But if magic does happen back here, this does have the leatherette seats, which they wipe off pretty nice. And if you're wondering what I meant by magic, I was referring to, you know, on the back end of the Passat, there really is nothing that sets this apart from any other normal sedan. It looks like the back of an Elantra. It looks like the back of anything. There's zero crazy cool styling. The LED taillights are pretty nice, I guess. The Passat badging speaks for itself. The Volkswagen logo looks nice. This tiny little hump of a spoiler looks pretty cool. You'll notice that you can't see the exhaust from here. They're hidden under the bumper. But for the trunk, you go ahead and you hold the unlock. There it is. Nothing fancy. Plenty of space back here. That's what makes this a little bit better than the Jetta, I'll say, is that you do have this little rear cargo space, and you are able to fit quite a bit in there. Again, for it being a sedan, it's pretty usable space. The other thing I want to point out is that you do get a full spare that's actually in the back, so real life spare and everything, and there's so much space back here. You could actually use this for a little bit of storage. That's a user manual, a couple other things, a jack, but yeah, pretty good usable space as well. The first thing I want to point out is that this steering wheel isn't centered. So there's my legs, hi legs, and this is me trying to move a little bit over to the right. As you can see, the steering wheel is a little bit over here, maybe like 2 inches or so. And so all this space, what is this? What are you doing, Volkswagen? Please explain. So you've got all this space just for headlights, and dimming, interior dimming switch. Like, that's it. Take up all this space So someone maybe can explain to me why Volkswagen moved this a little bit over. On a realistic note though, this is your steering wheel. It's got the little piano black. It feels pretty nice. It's a little small, I would say. Like everything feels kind of tiny in this car, and I don't know if I'm just getting larger. I might be. On this left-hand side, your window mirror controls, unlock, lock buttons, and your normal controls for your windows, cup holders for your twisted tees, more cup holders for your twisted tees in case things get crazy. You've got your cruise control, as well as, if you look right here on this guy, this is for the distance between other cars. So that's your smart cruise. Volume controls, skip your songs, nothing crazy. Your gauges, again, nothing crazy. Still analog, but you've got the little digital screen in the middle. I'll go ahead and turn everything on so we can get some power and show you guys some of the little bit of magic that this does have to offer. So let's go ahead and give her the gun. And then here's that little gauge I told you about. I'll zoom in a little bit. There really isn't much. One of the things you'll notice is it does have the lane assist, so that keeps you in your lane, and this is active lane assist, so it does make sure instead of just beeping or alerting you, it will actually intervene and keep you back in your lane. The rear traffic alert, so if any car or passenger shows up, it'll go ahead and do its thing. Blind spot monitoring, front assist, which is basically your forward collision avoidance. So it does have all those things, which is expected in 2021. I almost said 2020, living in the past. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll bring our attention over to this screen right here. Nowadays, this is a fairly small screen. A couple years ago, this was about standard size, no complaints back in the day. Now it's a little small. However, it does function very well. You can switch back and forth. You can go to wherever you need to go. Let me turn this down. You know, I don't want to listen to my gangsta. Stop. No gangsta music right now. All right, so you can go into your app, and that's where you've got your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Mirror Link. So you do have your normal controls. Then moving down to climate, you do have heated seats. Thank you, Volkswagen. And then you do have dual climate control, so you and your passenger don't have to fight over the temperature, which is very nice. And it does have sync, so if you're by yourself and you want to keep both temperatures at 69 degrees like I do, then you're good. And then down here, you got a little extra storage capacity. You got your little 12-volt outlet right there. And then behind this, oh my God, your little USB, your little USB port. This, all blank buttons. There's nothing cool here. This is your normal transmission shifter and no options to do anything fancy. And again, your cup holders for your twisted tees. And then you've got some storage right here, which is nice and deep. I can put my whole fist in this thing, so that's nice. And we're off. Buckle up, friends. This is not very thrilling to drive. Acceleration isn't bad. I'll say that this little 2-liter, it's got a little pep. Nothing crazy. However, it's comfortable, but just enough. It handles, but just well enough. It does everything all right. And for most people, this will be plenty. You want to get in a car that's a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more nice than a Civic, then get this. But there's also the Accord. And also Civics are really nice. So even though this is German luxury, this is Volkswagen and not an Audi, and it's not a BMW, and it's not a Mercedes, but it's also not priced like those. So it's not trying to compete with its German friends. Majority of people will not complain about this thing. They'll get in it and they'll have fun. They'll think it's all right, and they'll think it's nice. Satisfactory. Elementary, my dear Watson. Okay, that had nothing to do with anything. But I'm gonna take it through some pretend wines, and you know, it's pretty nice. It's okay. There's no paddle shifters, but you do have the option to put this in manual mode. You just flip the shifter over to manual. And it's not just about speed. This actually makes a pretty cool little turbo sound. So you can hear it sucking in just a little bit, or the intakes. The brakes on this thing are pleasantly sharp, I'll say that. I don't think necessarily road manners are this car's problem. It's mostly just This is a very specific kind of car for a very specific kind of buyer, I feel like. Because most people shopping in that $20,000 price point, they're going to go for the best bang for your buck. They want the best fuel economy. They want the safety features. They want all of those things. And this has that. But it doesn't have the reliability that a Honda, Toyota has. It's a Volkswagen. So there's that. This is a tough one for me. I like it just enough. I'd say that this car would be a solid 7 out of 10. I would buy one of these used, and that would maybe make it a 7.5, 8 out of 10 on the used car market. But in the 20s, there's so many other cars I'd buy. And unless you needed something with this size, with the, you got some big grown men in the back, then you might need this size sedan. But generally speaking, most people that want this are going to shop elsewhere. So even Volkswagen has admitted that sales for them, down 8% on sedans or something along those lines. So it's starting to really trickle, and this is a hard sell. I mean, I'm torn. But I'm not going to tell you guys how to vote. I'm just going to tell you guys the facts about this car, and you can form your own opinions. I'd say that there's nothing to hate. There's nothing to really love. This isn't the typical German car that you're going to get in and be like, wow, ultimate luxury. This is $20,000 car, and on the used market, $17,000, $15,000 car. So with that being said, it's in a very interesting segment where it does have a lot of competition, and it doesn't deliver anything special to really set it apart. Thank you guys so much for checking out yet another episode of LJ's Garage. Be sure to hit that like button, comment button, subscribe button, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys on the next episode.